What's up guys, I'm Chillpill and welcome back to another Black Sheep Top 10. Remember me? I know it's been about a minute since I last got in front of the camera for one of these videos, but now I'm back and I'm raring to go with yet another numerically descending list of awesome indies you should totally try out. And let me tell you, I've been looking forward to doing this top 10 for quite some time now. It's no secret that we love us some Zelda in this house. Ratter's been streaming A Link to the Past for a few months, and I basically have a shrine dedicated to the series on one of my gaming shelves. From the tried and true classics, to the amazing remasters, right up to the latest and greatest. We love them all, and just like with any successful long-running series, the Zelda franchise has had its fair share of imitators over the years. Only question is, which games do our elf hero clad in green the most justice? Let's find out as we take a look at our top 10 Zelda-like indie games. First up, we have Moonshiner. Alright, now this is how you kick off a top 10 list.
Chillpill, I think it's Moonlighter, not Shiner.
Oh. Can I still keep the flask?
Sure.
Alright. I forgot. I don't like liquor. Anyways, Moonlighter is a roguelite where you're a humble shopkeeper during the day, but when the sun goes down, you're a badass adventurer that explores deep dark dungeons in search of more crap to sell to the townspeople. So, essentially, this game is a beetle simulator. And after all, isn't that the Zelda spin-off we've been wanting for years now? No? Only me? Okay. Only difference is you can make the prices anything you want them to be and use the money you earn to upgrade your store, the town, or buy some sweet new adventure gear. Exploring the procedurally generated dungeons was a lot of fun at first, but then it dawned on me just how grindy this game was going to be. In order to obtain new weapons and armor, I needed specific items from specific enemies that also happened to be completely randomized. It just made the overall progression feel like such a drag. But the cute pixel art, catchy music, and combat variety are what kept me motivated to spelunk the same cave night after night rather than sleeping in my nice warm bed after a long day of pleasing unhappy customers, balancing finances, and trying to keep my shop from going bankrupt. Ah, screw it. I guess it's fairly presumptuous of me to include the second Evil Land game on this list when I haven't even tried the first, but come on. When has the sequel ever been worse than the original? Ignore that. Evil Land 2, a slight case of space-time continuum disorder, is an action-adventure game with RPG elements that changes graphic style whenever you travel forward or backward in time. It certainly does seem like the devs are trying to go all out with the nostalgia factor in this one because video game references are all over the damn place. From Metal Gear, to Professor Layton, and of course, our boy, Lonk. But it wasn't just the homages to the Zelda games that got Evil Land 2 on the list. A lot of the gameplay mechanics felt heavily inspired by the series' more classic titles. There's even a bit where you relive the puke green Game Boy days a la Link's Awakening. Maybe not everything about the game screams Zelda clone, but I still think it's one worth having in your Steam library, and if PC gaming isn't your thing, Evil Land 2 is also available on both Android and iOS. So if your phone's battery isn't completely dead from playing the Fortnites all day long, maybe give this one a go. Ah, everything in this game is so cute! The Swords of Ditto is basically what you would get if you were to combine The Legend of Zelda with Adventure Time. This roguelite was the very first game Ratter and I streamed together on the channel, and we were instantly enamored with the game's cutesy art style, fun bouncy music, and the creative use of toys as weapons, kazoos as fast travel, and stickers as status buffs. Not to mention that you can play this game completely in co-op and take down the evil Mormo as a dynamic duo. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, though. The fact that the overworld is completely randomized after you die means you're gonna be wasting a lot of time searching for the same dungeons over and over again just to make a little bit of progress. Worst of all, you lose all your stickers! I mean, you still get to keep the base stats you earn when you level up, but still, my stickers. Ain't nothing gonna cheer me up after that. Wait, is that a Loco Roco themed dungeon? What an unexpected and adorable Easter egg! These little guys haven't had a game since the PSP, and they gave me a sticker that lets me roll around at the speed of sound forever? Swords of Ditto, you have redeemed yourself. At first I was debating whether or not The Binding of Isaac should even be on this list, which I'm sure would have made many people happy. I didn't see how the game fit into the Zelda-like category. If anything, it's just another, albeit very good, roguelike. I then realized why I was having such a hard time making this connection. I was only thinking of the game in terms of new age Zelda tropes. I was completely ignoring the series' retro roots. The Binding of Isaac shares the majority of its inspiration with the original Zelda on the NES. The bare-bones plot introduced at the very beginning, the use of keys, bombs, and items to help you explore dungeons, secret bombable walls. Heck, I even found Navi on one of my runs. I love the creepy music and character designs in Binding of Isaac. Like, you get to fight Poop in this game. Poop! What other game lets you do that?
I am the great mighty Pooh.
Think you're so clever, don't you, Ratter? I will say that the controls seem rather dated and feel akin to a well-polished Flash game from the early 2000s, but using projectile tears to kill monsters is still one of the best weapons I think I've ever seen in a video game. If only I had that power growing up, grade school would have turned out way different. And high school, and some of college. Cobb was just one of many video game casualties in 2017 that fell victim to my ever-growing backlog of amazing games released that year, and man do I wish I'd gotten to this one sooner. In the latest game from the devs behind the Torchlight series, you play as a little robot named Cobb as you and your buddy Bastion explore the countryside, pushing boulders and looking at weird animals when all of a sudden, your arm is grapes! And then you wake up with your best friend's colossal appendage grafted to your body. At least that's what I got out of the opening moments. The game has no dialogue or text, and I don't speak Robot.
Now I know what you're probably thinking. One arm bigger than the other? He's gonna make a masturbation joke. To which I say, you know me. I'm fully capable of making clean jokes too. They just come harder. Damn it.
Running around the desolate ruins of the world while mowing down baddies with your sword feels very Zelda-like, and upgrading your Infinity Gauntlet to do things like Hulk smash your way through a wall made solving puzzles a lot of fun. I just wish the camera angles were more forgiving during some of the more precise platforming parts. Depth perception can be a real issue, and the minor tweak of making the camera free-moving really could have helped this game hobble its way higher up the list. Up next is a game I'm still kinda conflicted about. Okay, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room really quick. Oceanhorn, Monster of Uncharted Seas, is a poor man's Wind Waker. Originally, I was gonna do this whole bit where I compared the two games side by side to show just how ridiculously identical they are, but I think it'd be way more fun if you guys tried the game out and came up with your own opinions. Don't get me wrong, I really do think Oceanhorn is a good game, just in the same sense that when a kid cheats off a smarter kid's test, they both end up with A's. So, let me tell you why it made top 5. The graphics are amazingly polished and rich with vibrant color. The gameplay is tight and utilizes a wide variety of familiar Zelda weapons and items. The island-specific XP challenges makes exploration fun and rewarding, and the soundtrack even features a few songs from Nobuo Uematsu himself. You know, the composer from these little games. So, even though I still feel like the game tries too hard to be a Wind Waker clone, I will admit that Oceanhorn is a dang good Zelda-like. Before researching potential games for this list, I hadn't even heard of Reverie, but the day I learned of it just so happened to be the day before its debut on the PS Vita. And what a day that was for all 14 of us Vita owners. Joking aside, I was really glad to see this game made its way onto the PS4 because more people need to play it. Basically, Reverie is what you get when you combine the aesthetic of Earthbound with top-down Zelda game mechanics, and that set the whole thing in New Zealand. So, less Kikwi, more Kiwi. The story follows Tai, a young boy given the very simple task of bringing everlasting peace to a bunch of vengeful spirits hell-bent on sinking the whole damn island, thereby saving all the islanders from horrible watery graves. I really love the look and feel of Reverie, kinda iffy on the music, but it was the game's weird style and humor that really drew me in. One minute you're learning about the various indigenous birds in New Zealand, and the next you're fighting a giant washing machine. It's just odd and all over the place, and that's just fine by me. Plus, you use Heelys to dash. Freaking Heelys! You jelly of my sweet kicks, Grandma? Yeah, you is. I can Gumby slide around you all day. I was confident that Reverie would win the prize for quirkiest game on this list, but then Itll Do 2 came along and said, "Ha! Hold my beer." Now, I will admit that the childish look of the world and the semi-bloated character models were off-putting to me initially. I know, poking its cover, blah blah blah, whatever. But surprisingly enough, Itll Do ended up being one of the few games on this list I played all the way through because I just couldn't put it down. There are tons of puzzles littered throughout the game's many hidden rooms and dungeons which vary greatly in challenge, anywhere from too easy to, oh my god, I need Google and I need it now. And the feeling you get when you finally figure out the answer to one that's been giving you hell for hours is so satisfying. The gameplay is definitely fun and addicting, but what impressed me most about Itll Do 2 was the writing. Very rarely do jokes in video games make me LOL, but gosh dang it if the character banter and visual gags in this game didn't get a few genuine belly laughs from me.
It might not be my favorite Zelda-like on this list, but if you're looking for something with challenging puzzles and tons of cheesy jokes, it'll do.
My eye, what the
Oh, sorry Ratter, didn't see you there. Just put some ice on it. It'll do. Ow.
Recently, Ratter has been streaming her blind playthrough of A Link to the Past, and seeing all the fun and frustration she's been having with the game got me thinking about just how beloved the original Zelda games are. But do you think they'd be just as popular if the hero was a different person? For seriously guys, what if Zelda was a girl? Well, wonder no more, because Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King, finally puts that tired meme to bed. The game starts out with a cozy fireside bedtime story. Rather than bore his grandkids with yet another story about the elf boy, Grandpa instead tells them the courageous tale of Lily, a proud knight of the rose whom single-handedly broke a curse placed on the king and stopped his evil wizard brother from taking over the kingdom of Blossom. Still sounds an awful lot like A Link to the Past to me, Grandpa. But I'll let it pass, since the characters and locations are all tweaked just enough to where everything still feels original. What's truly impressive is just how close the quality of the overworld dungeons and monsters in Blossom Tales compare to those of A Link to the Past, and the chiptune music brings the game's retro aesthetic together very nicely. But Blossom Tales' true crowning achievement is definitely the gameplay. The devs did a phenomenal job with faithfully recreating the mechanics and combat from classic Zelda games, and truly captured the essence of what has made those games so much fun to play even after all these years. Before we get to the top of the list, let's take a look at a couple games that didn't quite make the cut. Researching and compiling this list took way more time than I'm willing to admit, but after countless hours of playing dozens of Zelda imitators, I finally amassed a collection of indie titles worthy of the series that has meant so much to me over the years. Deciding how each game should be ranked wasn't exactly a stroll through Hyrule Field, but there was one game that I knew had to be number one. Hyper Light Drifter is a fast-paced SNES-inspired action RPG that was kickstarted in 2013 and released 3 years later to critical acclaim. There was even a pretty cool SNES-themed collector's edition that came out alongside the game too. The world of Hyper Light Drifter is a quiet and mysterious one. Rather than have the ambiance of the game ruined by spoken word or being too text-heavy, the devs instead tell the story through a series of enigmatic pictures, leaving it up to the player to interpret them. The feeling of isolation is palpable as you explore the desolate remains of the world's 4 main areas, and the retro-inspired graphics accompanied by a subtle 80s-style synth track is the perfect complement to the game's overall allure. As you would expect from a game with hyper in the title, the combat is positively blistering as you alternate between dashing around, slashing, and shooting your enemies. Hyper Light Drifter is an absolutely amazing game that offers hours of challenging fun. If you haven't played this one yet, I highly recommend you download it today. And that is definitely a recommendation you shouldn't take lightly. You know what they say, it's dangerous to go alone. So why not subscribe to the channel and join our sheepy antics every week? While you're at it, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and come join our Discord too. Question for you guys, what is your favorite Zelda-like game? Doesn't have to be indie. Be sure to let us know, and we'll see y'all next time.